guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Alee and this is At Home with Alee. I am a mom, first-time mom. My daughter is 11 months now, which is crazy, and she was born premature. Just a little bit about me if you're new. I upload here mom life, mom content, advice, tips, things I feel like people forget to talk about or don't talk about. I like to talk about. And yeah, lifestyle content, everything like that. So as you could probably tell by the title, this video is all about my tips and tricks for traveling with a baby. I feel like there is a lot of content out there for traveling with toddlers and kids, and so like more like activity based travel tips and stuff like that. And I found there wasn't a lot of travel tips for when traveling with a baby, with a newborn, with a younger child, basically any child under 1 year old. I feel like there's not a ton of content about that because I feel like a lot of people don't travel that early. And so if you are, there's really like that space is really lacking. And so I did really want to make this video because I know when I started traveling with my daughter, I felt like there was a lot of content that was lacking out there. And I felt like there was a lot of vlogs that didn't give a lot of information. It would say how to travel with a baby or traveling with a baby. And it was just a vlog of people traveling with their baby. It's like, no, I want the tips. I want to know what I need to pack, what I need to bring, what I need to do on the plane, what I need to do through security, all of those types of things. So I wanted to make that video. So it existed for someone else. And that is my main goal with this channel, is just to be able to help at least one mom. If I can help at least one mom, dad, whoever, one person, that is my goal. So that is this video today. Tips for traveling with a baby, how to travel with a baby. I want to make this a whole series because I feel like there's different aspects and I don't want to skip out on things. Sorry, my baby monitor's right here, so if I'm ever looking down, that's why. My daughter's napping, so I'm just keeping an eye on her as she wiggles around in her crib. Also, I got a light. So I got a ring light, so let me know in the comments below if you guys notice a difference in the quality of the video. From what I can see in the viewfinder, I feel like there's a bit of a difference at least, but let me know down below if you notice a difference because I am kind of excited. I'm not kind of excited. I'm really excited about it. So yeah, let me know down below if you notice a difference at all, if it's worth it, if it's not. All your thoughts. Also, I did realize after getting dressed this morning that gray on gray on gray on gray. We're just gonna get over it. We're gonna move past it. So jumping right in. Oh, and also I have a very exciting announcement at the end of the video, so make sure you stay tuned so that you don't miss it. So jumping right in. First tip is definitely plan ahead and be prepared. I know this is kind of obvious, but I don't just mean like planning ahead, booking your trip in advance and kind of going from there. I mean like actually plan ahead. What my husband and I did is we literally had like the weekend before we left. So a little bit of backstory. We went to Mexico with our daughter when she was 7.5 months old. So she's kind of in that awkward stage where she's not like sleeping large periods of times like a newborn, but not quite fully able to really interact with a lot of toys to keep her busy. So that was kind of the period where I was like, what am I supposed to do with traveling with a baby? And what am I supposed to bring? What am I supposed to, all of the above. So plan ahead and be prepared. Like I said, I watched a ton of YouTube videos. Hopefully you're watching this video because you're about to go traveling with your baby. And what my husband and I did is actually the weekend before we left, we did a full run through. Our luggage was completely packed. Our carry-ons were completely packed. The diaper bag was completely packed. We put it all in the vehicle to make sure everything fit. And we kind of went through the steps. We're like, okay, this is where we need to grab, this is what we need to grab for check-in. This is what we'll need this is what we'll need through security. This is what we'll need at the gate. This is what we'll need here. This is what we are going to use on the plane. This is what we're going to use when we get there. This is what we're going to need right away the first night. This is what we can leave for the next couple of days. Those kinds of things we kind of ran through a dry run the weekend before to really make sure we had things. And that really opened our eyes to, oh yeah, we need to grab this, this, and this to really get fully prepared. So that is number one, plan ahead and be prepared. Have a plan in place. This is how we're going to go through security, which I have tips about coming up here. This is how we're going to go through security. This is how we're going to get on the plane. This is how we're going to sit on the plane. All of those things, plan it all ahead so you're not fumbling through that and trying to figure that all out with a baby in your arms, trying to lug a suitcase onto the plane, or trying to get the stroller into the gate check and then get on the plane and you're lining up with everyone else. Plan ahead, be prepared. Second thing, pack extras. I have my list down here, sorry, I just double checked it. Pack extras of everything. I'm gonna do, like I said, I want to do a whole series for this so that there's lots of videos you guys can refer back to or refer to. But yeah, pack extras. I want to do a whole packing video so you guys can see exactly everything we packed in. Carry-ons, checked luggage, backpacks, diaper bags, everything like that. Pack a little bit of extra because you would much rather have something you didn't end up using than go without. Especially like we went to Mexico, we weren't going to be leaving, we were at an all-inclusive resort. We weren't going to be leaving the resort to run to Walmart or Costco to pick something up that we might have forgotten. Anything we would have needed, we would have had to buy on the resort, which would have been a pretty penny. So we really didn't want to do that. So we packed extra, a little bit extra of everything. Don't go crazy, but pack a little bit of extra of everything. You would much rather come home with something extra than be scrambling while you're there needing something. Start traveling early. This is a big tip, and I feel like a lot of people talk about this and then and I do feel like it's obvious, but also not super attainable for a lot of people, but start traveling early. That doesn't necessarily mean on a plane or going somewhere extravagant. Just start traveling early. Go to a nearby, I don't know, near my travel spot near you. Like we live closer to mountains, so going to the mountains, going to a lake, going to in-laws' houses if they live further away, going to family if they live further away. Travel so that your child, your baby becomes accustomed to leaving. So going on longer car trips, figuring out your routine as well of when to take breaks, when you need to grab snacks, when you need to do diaper changes, everything like that is really important. We took our daughter on a really long car trip when she was 4 months old, and so we kind of nailed down like, okay, this is when we need to break to feed her. This is when we need to break to do diaper changes. In addition to that, this is when we need to get out and stretch our legs. So traveling early and often is really important. Also for yourself, just figuring out like what works best for you and your family of when you need to take breaks and what you need to add into that, because that's part of your routine when you travel. So traveling early and often, and that doesn't necessarily mean flying early and often, because I feel like that is definitely a luxury. Being able to go on an extravagant vacation or fly somewhere isn't attainable for everyone. So just going on longer car trips, everything like that, just figuring out what works for your family in relation to taking breaks and travel essentials. So next tip, pack something for everyone in every piece of luggage. We did this, and I'll go through this completely in my packing video, but pack something for everyone, because you never know if you're going to lose a piece of luggage. And I've heard so many horror stories, especially recently, with people losing luggage, and that would just be a nightmare, getting somewhere hours away from home and having lost your baby's luggage, being without diapers, without changes of clothes, without blankets, without all of those things. pack something for everyone in every piece of luggage. Doesn't have to be crazy amount. Could just be a change of clothes for you and your husband in your baby's luggage. Could be 10 plus diapers in the carry-on luggage. Just pack something for everyone in each checked piece of luggage, because that would just be a nightmare to lose a piece of luggage and be going without, or scrambling to find something where in your at your destination, which if you're like us and you're going to another country, where going and hair on my lip where going and buying something isn't as easy as running across the street to Walmart or Target or something. Going into another country where that's not as easy, that means grabbing a taxi, taking a bus, blah blah blah. Just save yourself the headache. Pack something for everyone, each piece of luggage. Okay, this next tip isn't going to be for everyone, but I do recommend, if you use points or anything like that, upgrading your seats. Make yourself as comfortable as possible. That doesn't mean flying business class or first class. We did not do that. Absolutely not. We are not there. But just paying for the upgraded seats with a little bit of extra legroom, anything like that, just to be that much more comfortable when traveling with a baby, especially if you're having that baby on your lap. If you didn't know, if your child is under 2 years old, you don't have to buy them a ticket. They can travel on your lap or your partner's lap, or they can travel on an adult's lap. So they don't need their own seat. They can travel on your lap. So make that seat as comfortable as you possibly can in an airplane, of course. And yeah, make yourself as comfortable as possible in an airplane, because you're gonna regret it later if you don't. Even in the upgraded seats, our backs were hurting, our legs were hurting, we needed to get up and stretch, but still, it made a big difference being in the upgraded seats as opposed to being at the back of the plane, for example, being cramped and crowded and having a baby on your lap and everything like that. This tip is major. Take food with you on the flight, whether that's packing from home or buying in the airport. Take food with you. Don't rely on buying the food on the plane. My husband's been traveling a lot lately for work, and he actually said a lot of flights aren't even giving like the little snacks anymore. Everything you have to purchase, which is really annoying. So they're not giving out like cookies and pretzels anymore. Sorry, those plain pretzels are my favorite. But pack yourself food for on the flight. I know a lot of people stop at Starbucks on the way. What we did is we stopped at Subway. I wanted food that was actually going to fill me up. I was also breastfeeding at the time, so I needed to keep my calories up. And so packing food on the flight was essential. Little pro tip, if you're going to go to Subway, we got a foot long, and we got them to wrap it as 2 6-inches. So you don't have to open both and kind of like fumble around and rewrap the one sandwich and everything like that. Have them wrap them as 2 separate 6 inches. It makes it way easier when you're on the flight, just opening up one sub rather than opening up both subs and trying to like fold one away, or having to keep them both out and trying to eat one and getting crumbs all over and everything like that. So wrap them as 2 separate 6 inches. And also, another pro tip, you can get them to put the sauces in little side cups. So if you're someone that hates soggy sandwiches like my husband does, it doesn't bother me too much actually, but he hates when his sandwiches get soggy. So they'll give you a little like side cup full of your sauces, and then you can dress it on the plane so that you're not worried about, if you're worried about your sandwiches getting soggy, you can get little side cups of your sauces or any toppings, and then you can dress it on the plane when you're going to eat it, which I understand. If it's going to be like 4 or 5 hours before you get to eat your sandwich and it's all soggy and then you're really disappointed, then definitely get those little side cups with the sauces in them, dress it yourself on the plane, and then it's like a brand new sandwich you just got, which is awesome. So yeah, bring food on the plane. Feed yourself. Plan ahead. Don't rely on plane food. because sometimes it's a little questionable. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's a little questionable, but all of the time it's stupid expensive and not worth it. So bring something from home or treat yourself to something in the airport and take it on the plane with you. 10 out of 10 recommend. So this next tip, travel with family. We were lucky enough to be able to travel with my in-laws, so my husband's side of the family. So we were able to like bounce the baby between the four of us. So I had her for a long time, then my husband took her for a little bit, my mother-in-law took her for a while, and my father-in-law took her for a while. It just gives you a break to eat your sandwich, go to the bathroom, stretch your legs, kind of watch a movie for a little while. Just bring family with you. It makes it so much easier, so you have someone to hand your child off to, say after security and you need to get your shoes back on, and you need to get everything packed back in your bag, or at the ticket counter if you need to grab out passports and it's for whatever reason it's buried at the bottom of the bag. You just need to hand the baby off to someone. You need to go to the bathroom, anything like that. Travel with family, someone to pass off to, someone to help out, someone that can grab something for you. My daughter was sleeping in my arms for a long period of time, and so my mother-in-law was able to grab my bag from the top compartment, everything like that. So travel with family, it's so helpful, especially when you're on the vacation as well, which I'm going to do a whole nother video, like I said, in this series about actually being on the vacation, what you should do with your baby. But yeah, traveling with family is so helpful. Definitely recommend if possible. Okay. Sorry, I just hit the camera. This is essential. This is so amazing. My husband had this idea and I haven't seen it anywhere, and it's so helpful. Put soother clips on things. It's so amazing. Okay, so put soother clips on things. This is literally still from when we flew to Mexico. We have this soother clip still on here just because we never took it off. But so this is one of her little like felt soft books. Is that what you call them? Soft books. This is great. So we use this as entertainment, little sneak into the packing video here, but we attached it to a soother clip and then we attached it to either us or my baby, and that way if she dropped it or anything like that, it was attached, so it's not falling on the floor all the time, and so you're not worried about germs getting on everything all of the time. Now, sneak peek into the packing video as well, we did bring laundry detergent and wash a lot of stuff as soon as we got there, but pack a lot of soother clips. Soothers were on clips, toys were on clips, everything was on a soother clip. It just made things so easy so that things didn't fall on the floor. The dirty airport floor, airplane floor, bathroom floor, bus floor, car floor, everything. It's so helpful, especially if your child is not old enough yet to figure out how to pop open the soother clips. If they're a little bit older and they know how to do that, maybe clip it to like behind them so they can't reach it or anything like that, or clip it to you. But soother clips, 10 out of 10 recommend. So amazing. Okay, so also on that note of attaching things because you don't want things falling on the floor, bring Lysol wipes and Clorox wipes. Just give yourself Lysol wipes or Clorox wipes. Give yourself the peace of mind of things being clean. So we went to restaurants, wiped down the high chair so that she wasn't like getting germs and stuff like that. The worst thing in the world would be to go on vacation and have your baby be sick. Maybe not the worst thing, but a really sucky thing would be to go on vacation and have your baby be sick, or you be sick, and that would be so annoying. So wipe down the high chair, we wiped down the airplane tables, our seats. Just give yourself the peace of mind. I'm not like a crazy germaphobe, but I've been seeing a lot of posts from parents saying that their kids got sick on vacation at the resort that we went to. So just give yourself the peace of mind, wipe things down, make sure it's clean for you, and yeah, just do it. It's easy and gives you a little bit of peace of mind. Okay, this next one is a little hack. Use a baby carrier through security. If you're going through security with your baby, put them in a baby carrier. They don't have to come out of the baby carrier to go through security. If you go through security in a stroller, you have to take the baby out of the stroller. You can't leave them in the stroller. The stroller has to go and get checked separately from your baby, so you can't leave them in there. But if you put them in a baby carrier or a baby wrap of sorts, you can leave them in there when you go through security. So you don't have to, if they're sleeping, you don't have to take them out and wake them up, but also just ease of having two arms and not having your baby in a stroller and having to worry about that. You have two arms, they're attached to you, you can go through security together, and it's totally fine. Use a baby carrier. It's so helpful. We also used it at the ticketing counter, and take it on the plane with you. We almost put it in the bottom of our stroller and had it gate checked, but we didn't, and I'm very glad we did. Although it didn't happen to us, but it happened to people on the other flight. They couldn't get the elevator to work at the gate check in the destination. So when they got to Mexico, the elevator wasn't working for the gate check items. So they said, oh, we're just gonna send all your gate checked items to the regular like luggage carousel, which is nice, but also then they had to carry their 1-year-old through the customs line in Mexico, and they said she fell asleep, and so she was the lady I was talking to, she said she had to carry her 1-year-old, like the dead weight of a sleeping baby, for 45 minutes through the customs line. So although it didn't happen to us, it's very possible to happen. So definitely take that baby carrier with you onto the plane. Put it in the overhead compartment with your carry-on luggage. Also, if you're in a long plane line to get onto the plane, it's easier than having to like arm hold them, especially if they're wiggly, like my daughter is these days. She's very wiggly and wants to check out what everything is going on, and it just kills your arm having to hold them for so long. So bring the baby carrier with you, stick them in the baby carrier, go onto the plane and put it in the overhead compartment, and then you have it for immediately off of the plane, and you can stick them back in there, go through customs, wait for your luggage, or pop them in the stroller when you get to the gate check. But yeah, use a baby carrier through security. They're so helpful. This next one is a little controversial, but I'm gonna say skip the car seat. I don't think it's very necessary. We contemplated it for a long time. A lot of people say, take it, just take it, don't worry about it, just take it. But that's a whole nother checked item, a whole nother item you have to worry about in the airport, in the transportation. And then, like for us, we were going to Mexico, so it's like, then it's just sitting in the airport, sitting in the hotel room for the whole time you're there until you basically get back home. Our transportation, you can double check on your personal travel plans, but our transportation actually could provide car seats when we got there, because we were just taking like a transportation bus from the airport to the resort. So they could provide car seats when we got there, although to be honest they didn't. And I just ended up holding her. It was like a big like Greyhound bus style bus for transport, and so a car seat didn't even fit in the seats. So I just ended up holding her, and honestly, I felt really comfortable with that. I could have put her in the baby carrier or anything like that. I didn't. I just held her. I was able to nurse her when we were on the bus, which was nice. And then she just napped in my arms the whole time. But yeah, I'm gonna say skip the car seat. It's big, it's bulky, it's gonna just take up space. It's gonna take up an arm. It's not like they come with wheels unless you have the Duna. If you have a Duna and it's gonna be your car seat and stroller in one, go for it. But if you don't, I really don't think you are gonna miss it. Also, there's a lot of companies out there that will rent you car seats in your destination. There's companies in Mexico. Our hotel told us about it, that if you were going to go on like excursions and stuff like that, you could rent car seats from them, and they could provide it for you, and then you could just rent it for the day or rent it for a couple of days. Also, I know there's a lot of places in the States and in Canada that you can rent car seats when you get there. You can pick them up right at the airport and rent them when you get there, and then you're not worrying about them in the airport, in the airplane, everything like that. I know a lot of people also these days take their car seats on the plane with them, and then if you do that though, if you, just so you know, if you do take your car seat on the plane with you, you do have to pay for a seat for your kid. So if your child is under 2 years old and you're not planning on paying for a seat, but then you want to put them in the car seat, you do have to pay for the seat. I've heard of a couple people say that if you ask if there's extra room on the flight and they give you the seat with the extra room, that then you can use the car seat. But I've also heard a couple of stories of people saying that they still charge them for the seat even though there was extra room, and a lot of people had mentioned that you could just ask for the extra seat and they give it to you. I've also heard a lot of people say that they don't give it to you and they still charge you for the seat. So for me, a little controversial, but I'm gonna say skip the car seat, honestly. It's big and bulky, and you can figure out a way to rent one when you get there 9 times out of 10. This is a big one. Feeding on the way up and on the way down. So if you're breastfeeding, make sure you're breastfeeding when the plane is taking off and at landing. If you're bottle feeding, same thing. Taking off and landing. It really helps your babies so their ears aren't popping. I was really concerned about that because my husband gets really sensitive ears to like altitude changes. So I was worried my daughter is going to get the same thing. So I made sure to time her feeding so that she was feeding right at takeoff and at landing. She actually wasn't ready to feed right at landing, but I just stuck her on there anyways just to help with her ears so that she wasn't going to have ear popping, which is my worst nightmare. That would be, I just couldn't even imagine a baby going through like ear popping and just being confused and hurting. So yeah, feed your baby on the way up and on the way down, and just prevent that ear popping. It's that sucking motion. Same with if your child's a little bit older, you can let them chew gum, but obviously babies can't be chewing gums or sucking on lollipops or suckers. Sucking on a soother is supposed to be similar, but I think it's a lot of the swallowing action versus just the sucking action. It's the swallowing aspect. So nursing, breastfeeding, or bottle feeding on the way up and on the way down, big tip. Okay, let them sleep. This is a big tip. I feel like a lot of people say, oh, time your flight with when their nap is or overnight or anything like that. Personally, we couldn't plan our flight like that. I know a lot of people plan their flights to be during nap time, but that didn't work for us. Our flight, like for us flying to Mexico, there's only one flight a day. You don't get to pick, oh, this one works perfectly for nap time. It's like there's only one flight a day. You don't get to pick. So you either take the one flight or you don't. So just let them sleep as long as they want. My daughter fell asleep almost immediately. So we nursed on the way when we were taking off. I nursed her and she slept for 3.5 hours, which it was a 5.5 hour flight. So she slept for the first 3.5 hours, and honestly, just let them sleep. I thought about waking her up and then I didn't, and I'm very happy I didn't. You have to think, traveling is so draining on us and our bodies, and we get dehydrated and tired and cranky. Kids are going to be the same way. Babies are going to be the same way. Travel is just draining. So let your baby sleep. It's not going to mess up their whole schedule. Just let them sleep as long as they want, as long as they're comfortable. Just do it. It's just going to make everything so much easier in the long run. Let them sleep. Soak in that nap time. Enjoy it. Watch a movie. Everything like that. Just let them sleep as long as they want. Don't worry too much about a schedule when you're traveling. So this goes hand in hand with the pack extras, but pack extra food, snacks, milk, pack extra of it. You don't want to be going without again. So I packed a ton of snacks, puffs, little pouches, pouches, snacks for my husband and I, extra milk if you're bottle feeding, extra milk, extra formula, anything like that. Make sure you're taking extras, because you gotta think, you get hungry, you get thirsty, you get dehydrated when you're traveling. Your baby's gonna be the same way. They're gonna get a little bit extra hungry, they're gonna get a little extra thirsty, they're gonna get a little more dehydrated. So make sure you're prepared. Pack extra food for you and your baby. Bringing extra milk and baby things through security. Big tip. So you can bring as much food, formula, breast milk, milk for your baby as you want. There's no limits on how much you can take through security. It doesn't have to be under whatever it is, 3 ounces, 100 mils. It doesn't have to be under that. As long as it's for a baby, it doesn't matter. If it's medication, if it's food for them, if it's water for their formula, if it's breast milk, it doesn't matter. You can take as much as you want. And so we did it through Canadian security and Mexico security, and both were very similar situations. Mexico was actually a lot more lenient. They did want to check our food once we landed in Mexico. They also checked our food there for her. They just wanted to make sure we didn't have any fresh fruits or vegetables or meat products, because you can't take those into different countries and stuff like that. But even a lot of people talk about them testing your breast milk. Correct me if I'm wrong. I read a lot about this. I don't think they have any right to actually test your breast milk. I believe they can look at it. The machine in Canada at our security, what they used, it was a weird little machine. So they like stuck the bottle on and it like squeezed it, and then she brought it back and was like, yep, you're good. She never opened it. They shouldn't need to test it. Don't let them test your breast milk unless they prove it that they need it, that they need to be able to test it. I have read a lot on there, so correct me if I'm wrong down below, but I do not think they have any rights in security to test your breast milk. They don't get to like dip anything in it or anything like that. If they take it in a machine and the machine like squeezes the bottle, that's okay. It's not touching your breast milk. If it's touching your breast milk, I don't think they're allowed to do it. Double check before you go, but don't let them test your breast milk if they don't need to. Just why? Don't need to. But yeah, we brought, sorry, my daughter's kind of waking up, kind of not, she's not sure. I brought sealed water bottles. I did hear like, oh, the water bottles need to be sealed to be able to take through security, because I didn't want to worry about trying to find a water fountain and stuff, especially for her rice cereals and stuff like that. So I brought water bottles to feed her for her rice cereal. And so she just took it, and it was like this little like claw thing, and it squeezed the water bottle, and then she just brought it back. So it was totally fine. It didn't matter if it was sealed, because I had one that was unsealed and one that was sealed. Didn't matter. Did the same thing. In Mexico, they were even more lenient. I just had a Ziploc bag full of things. I was like, these are for the baby. It had medicine in it, food in it, fruit pouches, and water bottles, sealed and unsealed, rice cereal, all those kinds of things. I just said, this is for the, they pulled us aside and they said, what's the food and drink for the baby? I said, it's just the Ziploc bag. And they said, looked at it, said, okay, you're good to go. So obviously it's going to totally depend on the person that you get in security and the day that they're having, but you're allowed to bring as big sizes as you want. You can bring as much as you want. There's no limitations to the 3 ounce or 100 mils of the item. You can bring whatever you quantity you need for the flight. So we brought stuff for the flight and after, so that we didn't have to bank on being able to get back into our suitcases and everything like that before she needed another feed or anything like that. So food pouches, formula, bottled water, everything like that, you should be able to bring with you right through security. Double check with your country, but Canada, US, and Mexico, it should all be the same rules of you can bring any quantities you want through security. Bottled water, breast milk, baby formula, everything like that. Okay, and this is a little hack for yourself and your partner. Bring empty water bottles. So like actual insulated water bottles, bring some for yourself and your partner that you could fill up after security. So don't be spending $7 on a bottle of water after security at one of the little convenience stores. Bring your own water bottle, and then it'll actually stay cold. Fill it up at the water fountains. Don't be fooled. There's water fountains all through airports. Fill it. They're usually right by the bathrooms. Fill up your water bottles after security, and then you've got a full insulated cold water for your whole flight, and it's not going to get warm. It'll be so good, and you didn't pay $7 for a bottle of water in the airport convenience store. Trust me, it's such a good hack. Definitely just a travel hack in general, honestly, but definitely bring yourself a water bottle that you can fill up after security. Keep yourself hydrated. It's so important. Travel dehydrates you so much. Bring yourself a water bottle so that you're not getting dehydrated and cranky. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed all of those tips and tricks for traveling with your baby, traveling with your newborn, traveling with your child under 1 year old. Honestly, you'd probably use most of these tips if your child's older than that. But yeah, all of those tips and tricks that I found when traveling with my baby, especially on a plane, which I think is a big feat for a lot of people. It definitely was for us. So thank you so much for watching. Yay, you stuck around to the end of the video. Here is your little bonus. So when I hit 1,000 subscribers, I am going to do a big giveaway. Let me know down below if you guys are interested in the giveaway and what it should be. I'm still thinking of ideas, so your idea could be it. But yeah, let me know. And thank you so much for watching the whole video. I really, really appreciate it. It means a lot to me, and it really makes a difference for me. Make sure you like and subscribe. It really helps me out. And hit that little bell beside the subscribe button so you're notified every single time I upload. And I can't wait to see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.